Sinners, more like you guys are winners of the cinema, baby. You guys won it. You guys won. Good job. More like winners. They won. It was good.
It was good, yeah.
Eating Soup Alone is a podcast hosted by me, Christopher Crumley, and co-hosted by Nicholas Johnson. We try our best to ramble incoherently about a handful of movies at least once a week.
But first, I actually want to start with a eulogy.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. Rest in peace to last episode.
Yes.
Yep. Hairspray, 1988, 87, whatever year that came out. Great John Waters film. Loved it. Had my brother Donnie on to talk about the 2007 remake.
It was very funny.
Because he loves it. And so just a quick moment of silence for that. Ryan Coogler, not familiar with that name offhand.
He did.
The director.
I know he did. I'm pretty sure he did. Let me make sure. I'm pretty sure he did Black Panther.
Oh, I didn't see that. But Sinners Bitches and Michael B. Jordan, Dugout.
I also did Creed. You ever
Didn't
seen
see Creed.
You
I've
ever seen
not
the Creed
seen
movies?
Creed. No.
I like Creed. I saw Creed 2. I
Yeah.
don't remember Creed 2, and I think there's a Creed 3, but I haven't seen it.
Let's talk shop 1 second before Sinners. Last week we locked in some picks for what the next episode's going to be. Are we still honoring those, or are you going to repick?
I think we mixed them up this week, but so next week, would be Equilibrium and...
No, Equalizer. You said you want to watch the Equalizer.
Oh, sorry, Equalizer and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Wonderful. So, Sinners came out this year. It just came out. Michael B. Jordan. There's some other folks in there that folks recognize, like the lady who spits in Michael B. Jordan's mouth. People know her.
Haley Steinfeld?
Is that her name?
Yeah, she's great. I love her.
Yeah.
That was my biggest takeaway from this movie is I'd let her probably shoot me with a gun once, and I'd be like, it's okay. I'll let that one slide.
Yeah. Didn't know it was a vampire movie going into it.
Really?
No.
And how'd that go for you?
Pretty good. I pieced it together when Homeboy showed up, obviously all burned up, and was like asking to come in the house, and I was like, yeah.
I love that he just drops in from above frame. Like, I don't know. It's so good.
Yeah. But to begin with, first half, this is, I'm sure a million people online have made this comparison. I've not really paid attention. Except for my boy, Dr. Wolfula. Shouts out Dr. Wolfula. But From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes, I was just thinking about that this morning, actually.
Yeah. So for the first half, you have this like interesting and compelling, well-paced, like timepiece period drama.
I would say for this one,
Yeah.
it's way more than half.
Yeah.
I feel like the last third of this movie is the vampire movie.
Yeah.
Right? I could be. I mean, I saw it.
I saw it at the theater, so I don't. Yeah, I don't
saw it weeks ago. But
remember exactly how it breaks down, but yeah,
whole thing flew by to me too. I don't know how long it is off the top of my head,
it's about 2 hours 15 minutes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
just flew by. So good.
But yeah, in the beginning you meet Smoke and Stack.
So good.
Straight up jacked.
Straight up jacked. Pretty quickly, I forgot. Like I stopped thinking about it being Michael Jordan twice.
Yeah, I actually didn't know.
Really?
At first, yeah. So I didn't clock it at first.
I hate it.
Which is kind of funny.
So much in movies.
Yeah.
Where one actor plays twins.
Yeah.
They always, I mean, it's nowadays, they always have to show off.
Yeah.
And have them hand something back and forth to each other and walk in front of each other like, whoa, look at what we can do. Look, he's lighting his cigarette. It makes me so mad.
That's funny. But yeah, no, again, I really did not know much about this film going in. I try not to watch like trailers and stuff because I feel like when I do, I just end up setting an expectation that is never met.
I remember seeing a trailer for this in theaters like, I want to say a year ago, but that's probably way too long. I'm thinking, I want to go see that, and knowing from the first trailer that it was a vampire movie, I think.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how, but I think that's how I knew this was a vampire movie going in. But still, it still got me when the vampire showed up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, the vampires started showing up, and I was like, oh, right, I really wanted the place to work out for Smoke and Stack. Like I was really invested in like.
Right, so it's a 1 day in the life, slice of life kind of deal. The Smoke and Stack, they're globe-trotting men. They fought in the war. They worked for Al Capone. Spoilers: they ripped off a couple of freaking gangs, the Italians and the Irish, or whatever the fuck, and now they're down here with the booze and the money to start their own juke joint. And they're trying to get everybody together. There's a, Asian couple, Bo and Grace, love them, that, they employ to, make the sign and, help with the bar and stuff. And, Smoke goes and sees his old lady, the ex-lady or whatever, to get her to, cook and whatnot, and also to establish that he has a child that, miscarried or died when it was young or whatever it was. And that they still love each other and they bang. Some hot from the back tapping.
Totally forgot until right now.
Yeah.
A lot of cunnilingus talk in this movie.
A lot of pussy licking for sure.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
I think that's the running theme of this movie, if anything.
It's going down.
It's going down on women. Yeah, it's crazy.
Cornbread. Love Cornbread. Very funny. Very funny.
The bouncer?
The doorman, yeah.
We should mention Sammy, the main character of the movie, first, probably, yeah?
Sammy's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. I would say is he the main character of this movie?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
We're watching it through his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Newcomer, I hear, he's not really been anything beforehand.
I'm looking at it right now, and I don't really see anything I recognize.
I think the real main character of this story is Delta Slim, though.
I don't remember who Delta Slim is.
Don't remember Delta Slim. He's the old blues man.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The harmonica guy?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Super funny. The guy who shit himself when the vampire.
Yes.
Anyways. So, yeah, they go around. They're rounding up the gang. And one of the things that I love, honestly, is the mid-credit scene. Where, right as Michael B. Jordan is leaving, old Sammy, old preacher boy is like, before everything got all vampire-y, that was probably the best day of my life.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, was it like that for you? Yeah, super good.
I love that. I also do love the surviving Michael B. Jordan being like, it was the last day I saw the sun. That was great.
Yeah.
Also, when they come into that bar, it feels like an SNL skit of like, hey, it's the 90s. Look at how they're dressed.
But anyway, so yeah.
Also, Buddy Guy playing Old Sammy. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Also, world's best name probably, Buddy Guy.
Pretty good. And it is having Michael B. Jordan play two characters. I do think it's convenient and pulled off well that they have to spend the whole day apart.
Yes, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, they round everybody up. They open up the juke joint. They bought it from the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, and they're basically like, "Hey, if you or any of your buddies come on this property, we're gonna shoot you." Spoilers at the end. Obviously the vampire, reveals that he's like, "Dude, we're gonna come and kill you guys in the morning, anyways." Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is all for naught, young soldier. I would like to take a moment to say that I freaking love the performance of the guy who plays the main vampire.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was a great villain opposite Mr. Michael B. Jordan.
My favorite...
You're pulling up your notes, and by notes I mean Wikipedia.
Yeah, no, my favorite meme I've seen from this movie is a picture of him. It says, "Y'all mind if a white boy speaks a little Chinese tonight?"
That's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. When he shows up, he's like, "You guys got a little shindig going on."
I love it. It was so good.
So over the top white, but he's so sweet with it.
I know.
He's got swagger. He does.
When him and the husband and wife that are vampires now,
I was like, "What? Do you guys have time to work on this?"
Exactly.
But it's the hive mind thing.
When they show up and they're like, "Oh, we're musicians, see," and they play their song, I'm like,
"Yeah,
man, we suck, don't we?" We're so lame. Oh my god, that scene in the bar where it's going through like the decades of like the past, present, and future of music. That's
it's
so
pièce
fucking
de
sick.
résistance of the
That's
whole
like
thing. Yeah,
the coolest thing I've seen a movie do in like a really, really, really long time.
Yeah, it reminds me of like I would put it in like a similar category as like how well it just like summarizes visually and thematically the movie. It reminds me of like the head stomp scene in freaking Drive, where he like kisses her in slow motion, and then you get like that's just like Drive condensed into 30 seconds. Same thing with that scene. It's like the whole movie condensed in like 2 minutes. You know, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It to me, it's just wonderful. It feels like, because it is jarring immediately,
and they burn that bitch down,
and they burn the barn
that motherfucker down. It's a
so,
barn burner.
So jarring to go from Sammy standing in a bar and playing guitar to like an 80s robot looking man.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay. And like, I don't know, I can't envision a world where somebody would tell me this.
Yeah.
And me not go, oh, that's gonna be dumb.
Yeah.
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 And like, I feel like there's a million ways you could have shot this and it'd be the dumbest thing you've ever seen. And they pulled it off, and it's so cool. And I love when they're like going through the decades and like all their music is blending into that song. It never feels like a remix or this era's moment in time. Just like it feels like one or two instruments from whatever era you're currently seeing just kind of subtly get added to the song and then taken back. It's so good. It's so well.
It's wonderful. Yeah, it's really good. Laughed a lot more than I thought I would. I will also say the vampire's freaking drooling, nasty as hell.
Oh yeah.
Fucking nasty. We mentioned the spit in the mouth. We mentioned that there's a lot of vaginal pleasure talk. We mentioned that Michael B. Jordan is jacked up. I do love. I think it plays into like the laughs thing, but I love the old school vampire like needing permission to come inside thing.
Oh, it's
especially
so
with
good.
freaking cornbread.
Yeah.
When they're like, you've been coming in and out of here all day.
It's so good.
You know, come on, be polite and invite me in. So good. Yeah. But yeah.
When they, I think I just kept until like probably around there when they start doing the stuff with the door or the guy that like wasn't actually a vampire inside or whatever. Like when it like up until the point where it cuts to everybody, all the vampires outside, like running in a circle or dancing or whatever they're doing over there while everyone else is inside.
Yeah.
It's just being like, God damn, this is just a vampire movie now, huh?
Yeah.
That's just what we're doing until this is over? It's so good.
Yeah.
And I think one of us said it around Nosferatu. Vampires are back, baby. I'm so happy vampires are back, man. Oh, I'm so stoked.
But yeah, no, I mean, you know, and really quick to talk about the two halves of the movie. The first half, you know, it does such a great job of like everybody's likable, everybody's pretty funny. They get a chance to like for you to like feel an attachment to them. They make something happen. Super cool. So it's especially tragic when everybody ends up dead at the end. Super sad. But the other thing that I wanted to mention was, you know, the whole thing of like sinners and the you know themes of like the music and attracting the devil in and stuff and blah 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 blah. It is interesting, yeah, because like you know, I think that is all played very well. The whole thing with like Smoke and Stack and how they've been around the world, they've you know lived lives of sin and like all they want to do is come back to their small town now, right?
Mm-hmm. And
same thing with like the cousin's at the point where he wants to leave, and you know Smoke not so lovingly, a little maybe aggressive, was like I'll fucking kill you if you just you know play Jukes your whole life, but it's basically trying to say like, hey, whatever you think's out there, like it's not as dope as you think it is. Like the most dope thing in life is probably just staying here and you know loving the people you got, you know, which again is you know I feel like a lot of our favorite stories throughout time are about like leaving, right?
Yeah.
And it's not often that the story, I mean, it's kind of like antiquated and like corny for the story to be like stay home, you know what I mean? But it is interesting when you think about the night that he had. It is wonderful, but also a bunch of terrible stuff happened. He slept with a married lady for one. That's pretty fucked up. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, bunch of violence. Obviously, that one guy with the frickin' switchblade cut the other guy in the face and stuff. And you know, it is one of those interesting things where, like, you know, it is. I think it paints like a really realistic portrait of, you know, how like in the pursuit of like that community and that fun and how that is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it's just it's not like a morality call or a judgment call or anything like that, but it's just like inevitable that a little bit of trouble is going to get pulled that way, even before you get to the vampire thing. Yeah. So like I feel like the juke joint also serves that purpose of like before you turn it up to 11, it's already made its point clear of like, yes, this is great, this is cool, like cutting loose on a Friday night with your community people is great, but also there's always going to be like someone's probably going to get slashed in the face, someone's probably going to fuck a married lady, probably going to happen. But yeah, it was great, loved it. And then the vampire shit starts going down. Go ahead. I hear you breathing in.
I was thinking. I was just thinking about stuff. I want to get to just real quick run through some stuff I love about non-vampire part of the movie.
Sure.
Like we already said, it's just so crazy how invested you get, how invested they make you in everything before vampires happen. Yeah. And me being the world's dumbest guy, I have to be like, this reminds me of a video game.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of the Red Dead Undead Nightmare. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's just like, hey, you play all of Red Dead Redemption, and then zombies show up. So that's really cool. I love him shooting the guys that are stealing stuff out of his van.
Yeah, he shoots him in the ass. He's like, "How you doing?" He's like, "Oh, pretty good until you shot me in the ass."
Yeah.
Then you should see the guy in the kneecap, and he's like, "I can't even let people hear that you almost stole from Smoking Stack."
I mean, God, there's just like a million little things I could get to.
A million little things. There's so much charm and so many like interpersonal relationships. That's just
like even to the point where like up in like seconds before the vampire comes, you're getting stuff with Haley Steinfeld and her family and what
her
race
mom
she
just
is.
Passed.
Yeah, and like that guy
Smoking Stack didn't come or send flowers or anything like that.
And that guy at the bar pays with like tokens to like another store, and Smoke is mad about it, and Stack's like, people have to feel like this is their home and that they're welcome here. It's like,
because they get played with like plantation coins or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and then just fucking.
They have that conversation about how like they're gonna lose money on this, and like I can't remember who exactly says it, but at some point somebody definitely says like, yeah, you thought you were gonna come down here and make money off of sharecroppers? Like, they don't have money, you know.
And then. Like, God, it's just so fucking good. Like,
yeah, it is.
When you get to the part where one of the brothers becomes a vampire.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, this is so good. This is such a good movie, man. Oh, my God.
Because twice Michael B. Jordan has that conversation with his old lady where, like, he shows up at her home and he says that thing about their dead child or whatever, where he's like, yeah, you got all this voodoo to, like, keep me safe, but, like, how come it didn't work for the child, And she's like, it just doesn't work like that, But and then when Stack is dead in Smoke's arms, he's like, do something to bring him back, or whatever, And it's like really sad. It's gut wrenching. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. Michael B. Jordan holding his own dead body. Very
what does she call them when they first start showing up? Yeah?
Yeah.
I was like, that must be something that vampires used to be called. I should look that up later.
It's like an old southern, folklore of like a haunt is another thing, or like
Yeah, and I do love like 10 minutes later she goes, oh no, these are vampires.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. I love the not vampire Michael B. Jordan when he dies in his little dream that he's having of his wife and their child. Mm-hmm. And then what's-his-face ruins it. The KKK guy ruins it. And he blasts him away, and it's just over. It's just like, oh, that's funny and also really sweet and like a great ending for this character. And then
right when he's waiting for them to show up, he takes off his little protection thing. He's like, I'm going home. I'm going home to my lady and my baby. And he goes sick house on those motherfuckers.
I have a different review inside of this review that I'd like to get to unless you have something important you'd like to say about Sinners still.
No, just 10 out of 10. I'm probably putting an A+, but go ahead.
I saw Sinners in the Screen X experience at MJR.
What the hell is that?
My dad was like, do you think this would be goofy and take away... Because I went and saw it with my old man. He's like, do you think this would be goofy and take away from the experience? What did Raleigh think of it? Oh, he loved it, which was surprising. Him and I never agree on movies.
My cousin Christian was talking about how he went to see it with his brother and his mom.
Yeah.
So, like, when the going down scenes are happening, he's like, dude, I had to watch this shit with my mom.
That's so funny.
Anyways, Screen X.
Screen X the theater is, instead of being like a square, it's more of a
dome.
Rhombus? Is this a
okay,
rhombus?
Rhombus, yeah.
So the screen is like at the tips of my fingers right here, and then we're back here.
Sure.
So the film was projected on the screen and the walls and the ceiling.
Okay.
And the movie starts, and it's the WB logo in the clouds, and it's immediately cool. I'm not like, oh, I want to watch movies this way, but it's like, oh, this feels like a Disney World ride. It's just like, oh, this is neat. I could see watching a Iron Man in here and being like, this is pretty fun.
Yeah.
And there were definitely parts of this where I was like, I really wish this was not how I'm watching this movie right now.
Everything.
So I could see everything or see less.
Yeah.
But to its credit, the whole movie wasn't like that. It cut away sometimes. And the movie was so good, I wasn't that bothered by it. My big problem with the Screen X experience is, one, in order to get it to work everywhere, sometimes shots have to be uncentered or like focused on a different spot than they should be. Like there's a scene where one Michael B. Jordan, Delta Slim, and Sammy are in the car driving through that field.
That's Stack.
And the shot is Stack and Delta.
Love Delta.
It's them talking, and then it'll cut back to Sammy sitting in the back seat to talk, and it'll cut back to him and Delta. And when it cuts to him and Delta, it's Delta's in the middle of the screen. Michael B. Jordan's kind of cut off.
Yeah.
And then Sammy's in the background of the car, and you can see it to the right side on the wall of the screen. Yeah. But in that shot originally in the movie, you can't see Sammy. Mm-hmm. But they were like, okay, we have to extend this so Sammy has to be there, and it was getting me the whole movie. Anytime these things will pop up on the side, I would just be so intensely watching those and not the movie. It was a JPEG of Sammy just sitting in the back of the car, kind of moving up and down. I was like, Jesus. I'm like, that sucks. And then, like, I started to notice when they're at the train station, people would walk off screen and onto the side screen and then become JPEGs just doing this up and down, walking away. Because you're not supposed to be looking at it, so it's just that. Yeah. And they're doing that and also using AI to just expand it. Yeah. Don't watch a movie this way. I do not recommend it unless it's like I said, Iron Man. Yeah. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Save your money. Don't see Sinners in Screen X. Okay?
Well, what do you give Sinners?
I'm gonna give Sinners a solid A. Yeah, it's really good. No, I'm gonna give it an A+. There's nothing I didn't like about it. So yeah, A+.
Well, the other thing, this was my pick, was A Bucket of Blood, 1959, I believe. Roger Corman, which, fun fact, not so fun actually, I shouldn't phrase it that way. A year and 7 days ago, he passed away from this earthly...
This mortal coil?
This mortal coil, yeah. So rest in peace to Roger Corman. Hugely important.
Yes, 1959. Ooh, there's a remake from 1995. Directed by comedian Michael McDonald.
Interesting.
And produced by Roger Corman. I'll have to look into that. Budget of $50,000. Box office of?
1.2.
This is 1959, Chris. Movies aren't making millions of dollars.
$550,000. $180,000. Nice.
Yeah, directed Roger Corman, produced by Roger Corman. Who wrote it? Doesn't say who wrote it in here anywhere. Screenplay by Charles B. Griffith. Yes, go ahead. You talk about this movie.
Oh, sure.
Why did you recommend it? Where'd it come from?
Why did I recommend it? Where did it come from? Well, here we go. To begin with, this just predates Little Shop of Horrors, which is, I think, what kind of really popped off for Mr. Roger Corman. That's probably the first real big thing that he did. Shares a lot of the same DNA. I mean, if you just swap the lust for art or whatever, the clay, whatever you want to call it, with a little plant that's killing people, then it's basically the same movie in a lot of ways. And I recommended it because I think it seems pretty decently forgotten to time.
Yeah.
But I think it is a very worthwhile blending of horror and comedy, and a very interesting and I think it's a very interesting snapshot of like the beatnik shit without being terribly offensive to the beatniks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when old boy with the beard is doing his like poems and shit, they're pretty decent. They're not terrible. It's not. I mean, sometimes it's a little cringe, but it's not like cartoonishly like laugh at this. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of the characters that are like hanging around, like you get in a good sense of like, you know, what like poets and like Bob Dylan-ish types like that hung around cafes would be probably like in a realistic way. It doesn't seem like very like, you get what I'm saying? It doesn't seem super caricature-y.
I think it like rides the line pretty well.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you're right. Like when he's like doing his poetry at the beginning, I'm like, okay. But then also the saxophone is so loud that I can't really hear him. I'm like,
that could be a mixing.
Okay.
But yeah.
And yeah, there's some stuff that he says in his poem that I'm like, okay, yeah, I like that. But then when he sits down, he's like, is that what I said? I don't remember. And it's just like, I only believe in saying that, like, super pretentious, annoying shit like that is pretty funny. But like, I think they like, they have their foot on both sides of the line. In such a really
because they're like eating
way.
Like wheat germ and stuff. And like they're definitely not. I don't think they're either like vilified or angelified or like that. It straddles the line. But anyway, so it's an interesting snapshot of the beatnik generation, which I feel like you don't ever really see portrayed just like this.
Yeah.
I think it's decently funny, and like, you know, just for example, the premise for folks who have not seen it before is there is a dim-witted busboy at a beatnik cafe who is enamored with all of the artists around there who, you know, do spoken word poetry and, you know, painting and all that kind of stuff, but he himself has no talent. At home, he's trying. I mean, he buys clay. He wants to try to sculpt. He's sculpting and reciting the poetry about who the artist is, and the artist is alive, and everyone else is getting pretty frustrated because he has no skill. His landlady's cat stuck in the wall. Out of frustration, he tries to cut the cat out of the wall. Ends up killing the cat.
Cat in the wall situation?
Yeah. And so he ends up killing the cat, and then in a moment of what the fuck you thinking, he decided to cover it in clay, and everybody fucking loves this clay sculpture, what they think is a clay sculpture, which also, in a sense, this kind of harkens back to like Vincent Price Wax Museum kind of a thing, like dipping his, you know, his murder victims in wax, and people being like, wow, what wonderful wax figures you have, you know. So yeah, it's kind of like a horror comedy in that sense, where it's like a very traditional horror story told through this weird like beatnik 60s, like late 50s or early 60s kind of lens. So it's just very interesting to me. I genuinely, again, like I said, I think it's very funny. It gets me like pretty early on. The guy who owns the cafe realizes that there's a dead cat inside of this thing, and he decides to keep it quiet. I think probably to make money. But
because someone offers him $500.
Yeah, and
it always gets me in old movies. Yeah, when money is worth different amounts than it is now.
Because like he shows up and he like wants to. He's like trying to like subtly tell the busboy that he knows, but the busboy is dim-witted, so he doesn't know, and he's just trying to say like, yeah, you know, really hairy, proud, you know, that kind of stuff, and he's not picking up on it. He's like, you know, actually, I've done another. And he's like, you have? And you can just see his face. He's like, yeah, it's called Murdered Man. And he like falls over, you know? But anyways, so, and you know what else this movie reminds me of? This movie kind of reminds me of Halloween Ends. Because the main dim-witted cafe guy follows like the same trajectory in the beginning as little Corey Cunningham, where he just keeps accidentally killing folks. You know what I'm saying? So he's like just this dim-witted guy that you kind of like, but he's doing horrible things that he's not even intending to do it, and then it slowly becomes that he is intending to do it, because he follows that same arc that Corey Cunningham has, where like by the end he's stalking a woman. He is actually killing intentionally, right?
Yeah.
At first he accidentally killed a cat, then he, you know, kind of in self-defense kills a guy, then he strangles a lady, you know? Same thing with Corey Cunningham. He like falls on a bum and stabs him accidentally, and then the next day he like kills someone intentionally, and then it's off to the races, you know. But so in that way, I just feel like it fits into the larger like horror narrative. It just seems like a forgotten part, you know, just a little Sasquatch of a film to me. But yeah, so I've always enjoyed it. What did you think as you were?
I watched it this morning actually.
Yeah.
Had to watch it with ads. Pretty upset about it. Found out right now as we're recording. Whole thing just on YouTube.
Yeah. Like I said, it's pretty forgotten. It's a probably public domain if I'm not mistaken.
I tried to find it legally, allegedly, and I just couldn't. Allegedly went to 123movies.com. It allegedly just wasn't on there, which is insane to me. Yeah. But, it started and the beatnik stuff was happening, and I was like, okay, I get it that this is a joke. And the movie was going, and I was like, there was just something about the movie that wasn't getting me, and I was kind of not put off by it, but a little annoyed, I guess. I've been annoyed. Side note, I've been annoyed and kind of mad for 9 days. Yeah. I got something I got to figure out. But anyway, that's the mindset I was going into with this movie. Yeah. When he shows up with the cat covered in clay, I was like, I love this movie. This movie is so good. And from then on, of course, I love this movie. This movie is so good. Yeah.
Decently funny. I'm assuming you laughed a couple of times.
I did.
Yeah.
I first laugh was when he's got the clay, because I, for the first time, started fucking around with clay not too long ago. Cause
when he's like, be a nose.
Exactly. He's like, be a nose. I was, when I was, my partner was doing stuff with clay, and I was doing it too, and I was trying to make a specific shape, and I was just rolling it in my hands and stuff, and be like, how? Do what I want you to do. It's so relatable. So that was very relatable to me, and he's got the Charlie Kelly situation with the cat in the wall. I love that he just punches a perfect hole out in the wall afterwards.
It's absolutely perfect.
And then I love how, it goes on. The second killing is an accident too. I love when that guy's in his house and he's like, "Oh, where do you get your horse from?" He goes, "Oh, what do you?" And he just has no idea what the stuff is.
He's like, "I'm taking you down for poor horse PI."
Yeah, the stuff that woman gave you. He's like, "Oh, that's really nice of her to give me a horse, then, huh?"
Yeah, yeah.
And then kills him out of, I guess, self-defense or whatever.
He's gonna shoot him. He's like, "You're gonna shoot me. You're gonna shoot me."
But then as it goes on, the second lady is like, "Okay, well, she was mean to me, so." She's going to be the next one. And then as it goes on, he's just like, okay, I have to start killing people now. Not he has no motive behind it other than I'm going to get found out for not being an actual artist. Yeah. And then at the end, when it's just oh, I bet you he'd have called this one The Hanging Man. I was like, that's a really dark way to end this movie.
I did write down one line, though, for sure, from the two beatniks that are just, comedic relief, the Jay and Silent Bob type, guys that are hanging out. For one, there's one scene where, the whole scene, the guy's ashing into his hat, and then as soon as the scene's over, he just dumps it on the ground.
So funny.
So funny. But there's a point where they're looking at one of his statues or something like that, and the guy's like, I saw a statue once that was called The Third Time Florence Saw Me, She Exploded. And then, and then the guy goes, what kind of painting was that? And he's like, I don't know, but it was made out of pitchwood and dipped in fluoric acid. It was way far out, or something like
that. Somebody at I think it's the beard guy, goes on a monologue or whatever. And one of those guys goes, what did he just say? Were you not listening to anything? He goes, no, man, I'm too far out.
Yeah. And the other thing is that this is what do they call it? It moves at a clip's pace or something like that, but it's only an hour long. It moves
at a clip, yeah.
Yeah, it moves at a clip or whatever. It's 64 minutes or something.
Also scared me, old movies always does, where it's just done.
Yeah.
The movie just goes,
It also just starts. It reminds me of Carnival of Souls in that sense. Carnival of Souls just he's like, hey, you want to drag?
Yeah, or The Fly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So yeah. I think that wraps it up. I think it's a short episode. It feels like we maybe talked for 26 minutes.
Ooh, 33, but and I talked a lot about a movie theater.
Yeah.
Did you see anything else lately that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I saw both Hairsprays.
Okay, fine. Let's talk about Hairspray for a little bit.
I don't know how much more I got to say about Hairspray. We talked about it already.
What would you give Hairspray 1985?
What did I give it?
What would you?
What would I give it? I think a B plus A or something like that I gave it.
B plus A? Okay.
Yeah.
I would give it a B plus.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. What would you give Hairspray 2007?
I think I ended up giving it a C or something.
Yeah. I didn't see it. That was a big payoff at the end. It was my big great joke because I didn't see it.
Yeah, we talked for a long time and then
I'm so mad that episode is gone.
Yeah.
I know we don't usually we joke about the Matrix Back to the Future one every now and then. That one's just gone because we were too drunk or whatever, but while I was like trying to fix the Hairspray episode, I was listening to bits of it. I'm like, this is great. This is really funny. I really like it.
Yeah.
And then, god damn it.
Well, instead you get a 30-minute episode. Sorry, guys. That's how it works out sometimes.
Really, you haven't watched a single movie other than these two since the last time I saw you? Since
what
Hairspray?
the hell? God, no. I don't think so.
Okay, well then that's that, Mattress Man, I guess.
Let me see. What have I watched recently? I watched, give me a second here. I got a Letterboxd. The last couple of movies I saw were, oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Couple of things. We're gonna pad this out. You can go in a moment, but some shit. Where's my diary? There we go. Okay, so Heat we watched for the show, and then so there's like about 4 films that I've watched since. 5 technically, but 4. I watched this one movie called Schizo from 1967 because Will Lorenz, friend of the show, has this app called Canopy.
Okay. And
it's through libraries, and it's like one of those like Criterion or Mubi type things where it's like, hey, like only the most stimulating whatever. So it's largely kind of just forgotten whatever. It's like slasher from '76. I'll read you the little description. A recently married woman who has been labeled as a mentally unstable begins to suspect that someone close to her is the culprit in a sudden string of murders. It's pretty interesting. It's British, first of all, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to watch it. British slasher from the 70s, strange. She's like a ballerina, and her husband is like he owns a business. He's a businessman. And basically what happens is you follow this like silent man who's kind of stalking her, right? And it seems like he's doing these murders, and he's like in her house, yada yada yada. But with the title like Schizo, you're wondering like, is some of this in her mind? You know, what's going on? You know. And so when the confrontation finally comes, spoilers if you want to watch it, go ahead. But he and her end up in her husband's factory, and he's basically trying to tell her like she remembers who this man is. This man is her uncle, who just got out of prison for killing her mom or something. Not uncle, like a boyfriend of the mom or whatever.
Okay.
And she saw this happen. But when he finally gets to her, he's like, you gotta tell him, it wasn't me, it was you, but they wouldn't listen to me because you're a little girl, like, and you did it. And like, so the end kind of alleges that maybe she did it, but to cope with it, she like made up this story of him being the one that killed her and stuff. So throughout the film, you see both. You see like a scene where he's done it and a scene where she's done it. And I don't think the film definitively says it was one or the other. It leaves it very like open, like whether, you know. But it's pretty decent. It's you know, like again, I would say, you know, like I gave it like a 3 stars because it is the 70s. It is British. It's a little boring. I think it goes like for almost 2 hours. But there are some really decently effective like scenes where she's like. She like sees him out of the corner of her eye in like a grocery store, and she's freaking out, and she's hearing her name get called a bunch, and then suddenly she's out in the street, and it's beautiful. It's a good movie. It's shot well. I would recommend Schizo. I have also seen Hairspray, as we mentioned, which, you know, hilarious. John Waters, legend. I watched a 1971 horror film called The Velvet Vampire.
Ooh, that sounds hot.
In more ways than one.
Ooh.
I'm going to read you the little description real quick. A married couple accept the invitation of mysterious vixen Diane Lufanu to visit her secluded desert estate. Tensions arise when the couple, unaware at first that Diane is a centuries-old vampire, realizes that they are both objects of the pale temptress's seductions. So it's kind of like, you know how like in Rocky Horror Picture Show, Tim Curry sleeps with the man and the wife?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Yeah, she like invites them to stay in Arizona, ends up sleeping with both of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of this vampire with her big hat on.
Yeah.
I get it.
It's pretty mid, but good. Also, it's like a weird blending of, like, I've heard people online call it like a B-schlock terrible movie mixed with an art house film at the same time. It seems like something that the MST3K guys would like watch and riff on. Not very good performances, but there are some. It's just, you know, it's 70s B horror. I mean, it was enjoyable. It was like a 3 stars.
Her hat.
Watch it. She, I think, also did a lot of lesbian porn, or at least softcore porn adjacent films.
Does she have the hat on in these films?
Yeah, to protect her from the sun out in the desert. 'Cause she just goes out all day long. She doesn't do the traditional vampire thing of like, and it's directed by a woman.
But it's because she's got the hat on. Yeah.
Right.
Well, not. I mean, yeah.
The other movie was Sinners. We already talked about that. And then one of the final movies I started but have not finished, and I kind of intend to finish with my fiancée, French slasher that I love. It's actually really fucking good. It's like a S tier classic in my opinion. It's a French slasher called The Strangler. It came out in like 1979, 1980-ish.
That sounds familiar to me.
Ooh, it's in the Criterion Collection. It's a chef's fucking kiss. So the main guy strangles women. He says for no particular reason. He's always like knitting these like scarves because he always uses like the same scarf to do it. Then your other main character is like this guy who is like on the French police force but eventually leaves it, who is determined to like not necessarily catch him, but he like goes on TV and he's like, I just want to talk to the Strangler, like the guy who's doing this, right? Strangler's a really young guy. And so throughout the movie, they have this like weird budding friendship where like they like secretly meet and talk, and he like asks some questions like, why do you do this and stuff? He's like, I don't know, you know? And like, I don't know, it's just interesting. Like, it's so French. Like the Strangler like works at a market during the day and they'll like stalk women, and then at night they'll go strangle them. And it's like very interesting and artsy. Like there's like this like reoccurring like fuzzy late night like handheld camera of like just like lights and traffic like thing that'll play before he does any of his murders. Mm-hmm. It's like this visual motif, you know, where like the sound drops out and it just plays like this like, you know, guerrilla style like handheld footage. And I was just enamored with it. It's a beautiful film, and I can't wait to finish it. Yeah, would love to do it for the podcast perhaps one day, but I still have only watched half of it because it is a bit long. It's like a good 2 or more.
1970?
Is it 1970 French? How long is it?
Hour and a half.
Oh, hour and a half. I'm wrong. I must have gotten 45 minutes in, and then I think what happened was Will was probably like, man, I'm about to fall out, and then left. So, have you watched any films?
I saw the Thunderbolts.
I was going to ask you about the Thunderbolts. Asterix? The New Avengers?
The New Avengers. Fine.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's made by all the like cinematographer, writer, director are all A24 vets. That was like a big part of the marketing thing. And it shows a lot of it looks better than like.
Yeah.
The only compliment I could give it is whenever, like, it opens with Florence Pugh sitting on top of a roof, and then she jumps off and does a parachute, and it's clear that she's sitting on top of a real roof, and then a real stunt performer jumps off of a real roof. And you think, oh, in any other Marvel movie that would have been in front of a green screen, and you'd be able to kind of tell, but like you just get past it. So that's the only positive I can give for like a lot of the good stuff of this movie is like, oh, if this was another Marvel movie, it would be significantly worse.
Yeah.
But as a movie by itself, it's good.
Do you think they'll make another one?
Absolutely, because they are the new Avengers. Some of the bits and jokes get pretty old by the end because it's a Marvel movie. A lot of the
humor hasn't been funny in a while.
Yeah, the he's right behind me kind of stuff is still in there, which is annoying. The villain is clinical depression, which is like interesting, but also by the end of it, it's like, okay.
Hear me out for a moment.
And it gets kind of.
Hear me out for 1 second. Avengers movies are very millennial coded, I would say.
Absolutely.
They have that like cringe of just
Absolutely.
like all of them. They just like have that stink of like, oh yeah, these are definitely millennial movies.
They're like Disney adult stuff for for dudes.
Yeah.
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 And this one feels like it's trying to be Gen Z coded with the depression stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like a running theme through like all the characters that end up being in the Thunderbolts, as they all like in their own words describe like a void that they have inside of themselves.
Yeah.
And then the big bad guy turns into the Void is his name. Looks very cool. He's just solid black. He like turns people into shadows like Hiroshima.
Yeah.
And then like one of the Thunderbolts gets whatever, and then like some Charlie Kaufman-esque stuff happens, but it's not great.
Yeah.
And then it's over. David Harbour says some nice stuff about depression that was like, oh, that's very touching.
Yeah.
It's a nice speech, whatever. And then it's over. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, isn't it? She's great.
I know I'd be saying this all the time, but you know what for sure is going to be locked in over the summer? Here's some of my summer picks, my summer highlights side. Like I said, Batman Begins is coming as one of my picks. The Phantom Menace is coming as one of my picks. But probably before those two, I'm probably going Scooby-Doo Zombie Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get down with that.
I fuck heavy with Scooby-Doo.
Absolutely.
Especially the original like 24 or 25 episodes of like the first season or two of like Scooby-Doo Where Are You? But Big Scooby-Doo fucker. I fuck heavy with Mr. Doo. With Mr. Doobert Doo.
And then, I guess last thing I'll bring up that I've been into lately, not movies, but we talk about video games a lot on this
from time to
show,
time.
so I can talk about something that's not a movie real quick. Old, like, r/no sleep creepypastas that are good. Not the, like, ones that
It's an interesting arc. You've gone to Wendigoon, and now you're on creepypastas.
Yes. It's all...
What's going on?
Because of Wendigoon. These are all just things that he covers, so I'm just like, I'm doing these too. They're cool. The r/no sleep.
You've heard it here first. Creepypastas are cool.
They're cool in the sense that, like, anybody can make them. So, like...
It's folky.
It's folky, and it's a lot of, like...
Campfire.
Even when they're bad, some of them are horrifically bad. It's just like, but somebody is just trying out here is what's happening, so it's great. So when they're good, they're really good. And
that's how I feel like most horror stories on the internet, in the internet age, are.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I listened to a podcast called Scared to Death. Mm-hmm. And, like, man, wading through most of it is just, for me personally, not that scary, kind of corny, kind of cheesy, like, oh, yeah. But when they hit, I'm like, oof, yep. That's a tingle down my spine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the best one, I would say, that I've been through recently, it's scary in, like, a very different way than I've ever been scared by media before. It's called If You're Armed at the Glenmont Metro, Please Shoot Me. And it's about... Also feels like an episode of The Twilight Zone, but way too long. A guy, to make extra money, is constantly doing, like, medical trials and stuff like that. Or, like, testing out medicines and stuff for folks.
Yeah.
And he does one that makes his brain faster. And so he can think way faster than anyone else can. And he perceives time in kind of slow motion because of it.
Okay.
Because his brain is faster, but his body physically can't be faster, you know?
Yeah.
So he describes, like, taking, 45 seconds to pull his hand up and pull a book off of a shelf. And, then scientists are, like, throwing Cheerios at him, and he's, like, catching them with, like, chopsticks and stuff like that, and doing math very, like, in seconds and shit like that. And then he goes home, and he describes the, like, walking from the front door of the office to the elevator and going to push the button on the elevator and jamming his finger in because he doesn't know how soon to stop his hand because it's going so slow. So he has to kind of figure that out or whatever. And when he jams his finger, he describes in detail how it feels for you to perceive your finger jamming in for 20 minutes. And then he goes home, and he can't watch TV because it's too slow, and he's just, like, ripping through books. And he's trying to sleep, but he'll lay down for 10 minutes, and they feel like 2 hours to him, and he just can't fall asleep, so he takes an Ambien. And as time goes on, the Ambien starts to kick in and makes things worse. It makes things, like, come to a crawl, and he's just stuck in his own brain for the duration of the story, and it's haunting. I've already told you too much of it, but it's really, really good, and I highly recommend it.
Wow, yeah. That one does sound very, very, very creatively terrifying. Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Wonderful. What are we at now?
We're about 50 minutes. That's basically an hour.
That's basically an hour.
That's basically half an hour less than we normally do.
Yeah, whatever.
Buy it, yeah.
Whatever.
We're both busy. We got stuff going on today, all right?
Yeah.
Cut us some slack.
That's all right. Hey, there's plenty more where that came from. I'm sure you've not heard all 130 episodes, so if you really are fucking just...
jonesing.
Yeah, bricked up for some more, there's plenty of back catalog, baby. So,
have you ever seen Possession?
No, but I'd like to.
I'd like to do Possession soon.
Okay, well, you already picked To Kill a Mockingbird and The Equalizer for next episode, so that is that Mattress Man.
If you need more soup, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or go to our website, eatingsoupalone.com. And until next time,